call the East Lyme Board of Finance regular meeting to order Wednesday, February 9th. Time is 7 p.m. All rise. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next item on the agenda is delegations, a chance for the public to address any of the items on the agenda tonight. Seeing nobody in the audience, I think we can move on to the next item, the approval of the minutes of our regular meeting from January 12th. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes? Do they have any comments, corrections?
I'll move to approve the minutes of the regular meeting, January 12th, 2022.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries 6-0. Next on the agenda, reports from our first selectman, Kevin Siri.
Thank you. And as you can see by several of us here tonight, the mask mandate for town public buildings has been lifted for those fully vaccinated. It's a choice at that level. It's recommended, but it's up to the individual. And for those that are not fully vaccinated or unvaccinated, you're still required to wear a mask. So that went into effect at the end of the workday today. I think a couple of the other towns were planning on going to it as well, but I'm not sure yet. I haven't heard from any of the other neighboring towns on that. Update, the police, as you guys very well know, the police department has moved in and things are going really well. It really looks nice over there too. We're looking at Paul Cram doing a virtual tour to put on Facebook sometime within the next week or so. Now that they're moved in a lot better. When the Board of Selectmen had our tour last week, there was still brown paper on the floor because so much moved in, you didn't want to scratch things. EOC had not been fully outfitted yet, so that's done, but there's going to be a virtual tour, and probably, I talked to the chief, we're talking somewhere in early mid-March timeframe, maybe doing a ribbon cutting. A walkthrough tour would be tough because of as you saw the layout of the building, you'd have to have officers all over the place in there and that, so that's something that we'll try and look at. Just prior to this, I don't know if you guys saw the state budget, we got an update on what the governor's going to give us. It went up from what the first projection went. It went up by $5,400, so it's better than going down $5,400. Moving on. The Amtrak fence between the drawbridge and hole in the wall is supposed to be replaced starting the end of this month through early April. We have some concerns about the fence they are planning on using. They're planning on using the aluminum rail fence, the black rail fence at 8 feet high, and at that height, it would have an impact on the view, especially if you were sitting at a place like Skipper's looking towards McCook's. It would really obstruct the view, and that's the most. It's the only main street in Connecticut that has water views, so we want to preserve that. I've reached out to Amtrak, and they are looking into it as well for other options for us. So more on that to follow once we hear more. The tax collector's having a tax sale on April 21st for properties that have gone extremely in arrears in property taxes. It's on Thursday at 10 a.m. on April 21st at the community center. And normally what happens is you have quite a few properties. As the closer you get, the more people will come in and pay their bills. There's a list right outside the tax collector's office of the properties, and we have gotten some significant tax revenue from that over the last couple of weeks. So let's hope that keeps up. I just got something. I was just looking at Lyme before I came in here. The national infrastructure thing and what Connecticut's getting. There'll be some opportunities for us through Safe Streets and Roads coming up, and the grant dates starting are anywhere from May to the fall of this year. Safe Streets and Roads, local governments reduce accidents, especially for bicyclists and pedestrians, so that's something we'll take a look at, maybe with some sidewalks, try and get some grant money there. Energy efficiency and conservation block grants, things that reduce energy, increase efficiency, and cut pollution, so we'll look at that. Even some to where if you can identify places where you can put in a electrical charging station for a car, you can possibly get some grant money. So those are several things we'll be looking at. There's some that don't apply to us. One is, there is some water and sewer as well, but one is for remediating lead pipes and that, which we don't have. But it's a long list that we'll be going through and looking at. Going back, the hybrid camera system, we found out that the one that they were going to install would mean that as you were sitting there, the hybrid would be being displayed behind you. So you'd have to turn around to look at it and so forth, not what we were doing. So it's going to take a little longer. There was lead time on parts as well. But there'll be TVs on the side and over there, and that will probably be able to move a little bit or in there. You know, they were talking about that the other day. So it'll be enhanced for the people watching, and it'll be enhanced for the people on the Board of Commission, so you won't have to turn around and look behind you. Plus, it would be difficult, then all the people up there would be looking at the Board of Commission from behind. So working on that. A week ago, Monday, we had a significant fire in town, and I think everybody has heard of. Really good job by our dispatchers right off the bat. 59 911 calls came in to report the fire. In the meantime, they're trying to dispatch, and I went to a debrief that the fire department had Sunday morning, and it was interesting because they're talking about how surrounding towns could hear, okay, if a second alarm calls in, then our dispatchers have to notify the adjoining or the neighboring department. They hear it, and as soon as they call, nope, we heard it, they're on their way type of thing. So a lot of good cooperation. And some of the things you find out, there were 12 missed 911 calls in that whole first 10 or 15 minutes. Even though you're 99% sure you know what everyone was calling for, they have to call back to make sure it wasn't someone calling in, I've got chest pains or something like that. So a really good lessons learned, how important those first 10 minutes are, and it was really nice seeing the fire departments talking about how do we do this better, and hopefully never again, but if we do, how to do it better. So some good discussion there. And I think that pretty much covers up my report. And any questions? Okay, thank you. Oh.
Kevin, I just wanted to point out that we saw on the website that the phones were down today, and I wanted to point out that it wasn't the town or the public safety buildings phones that were down so much as the statewide, so that
okay, yeah, that's good.
Was worried that the new building was a problem.
No, it wasn't us. No, I'm glad you pointed that out there. I should have probably mentioned that when I forgot about it. But thank you for bringing that up. No, I assure you, my phone was ringing very well all day today. So.
Great, thank you. Next on the agenda is the report from Anna Johnson, the Director of Finance.
Good evening. So at our last Board of Finance meeting, I had indicated that we would have the audit done by the end of this month, and I regret to say that it's just not going to happen. I was not able to get all of the trial balances to the auditors, so we had to postpone them coming out. I had some projects that I had to deal with, and so I kept putting off getting the work done. I've kind of cleared the desk for those, and for the next few days I'm going to try to devote most of my day to getting that all wrapped up. So what I'd like to do is be able to get the auditors the trial balances by early next week. So once I get them the trial balances, they will contact me in terms of when they can schedule to come out and get our audit done for us.
And I just want to say, having worked with you on the pension committee, I'm certainly aware of all of the different directions that you've been pulled in lately, whether it's from the, all the COVID stuff, the pension committee, the staff shortages in the tax assessor's office, all of those things. So I can appreciate that you've been working exceptionally hard, and I think that I appreciate all the work that you do, and hopefully we can figure out a plan going forward so that you've got the help you need and that we won't be late again.
Thank you for your support.
Have you got any, I don't know if you've heard from the auditor, if the audit partner, has he mentioned timing for them? Because I know this is the time of year they're going through all their, they got all their year-end work for all fiscal year people.
Right.
So I don't know if they think they're going to be able to service us right away, or...
So the way that I left it when I spoke with him, he's going to get back to me in the next day or so and tell me where they have in the schedule that they would be able to fit coming out here for us. So I did indicate to him that my goal is to be able to get them the trial balances by Tuesday of next week. So, he said, well, that's good information for me so that when they look at the schedule, they'll keep that in mind.
I know they're going to be I know there's a new manager on their side as well, so I know that's probably going to be a speed bump there.
The individual that they are going to assign to us has worked as part of the team in the past, so it's not like it's totally somebody unfamiliar. So.
You have more to your purpose besides that?
Yeah, so I didn't know, at the last meeting, Mr. Maxfield had asked for a balance sheet, so I did include that in the reports for you. I don't know if anyone has any questions that they would like to ask on the balance sheet.
I had a question on the, and I think it's been a lingering item since the audit, is that leftover reserve account from the self-funded health plan. There's something there that needs to be, it's not, from what I understand, it's not money that we owe anybody or anybody owes us, but it's just that.
Well, we owe ourselves.
We owe ourselves.
Right.
But it's.
So what?
We need to do to clear that off the deck.
Yes. So Mariana Stevens and I, the Board of Education Finance Director, we looked at the balance, and we agreed on, pretty much that the board would be responsible for approximately 75%, the town the remaining portion. And we'd like to get it paid off within a 4-year period.
Okay, will that be within all our governmental accounting requirements?
Yeah, I think it's just we have a plan. We're not going to just let it linger out there. We're going to
There's something that will follow the government accounting rules.
Absolutely, yes.
Is that the 9 set? Was it the 9? Forget the amount. Was it the
927, yes.
927? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Looked at the reports. I think we're at a good place for most. There's a couple of things we're keeping an eye on in regard to overtime, but I think we're in good shape so far.
Yeah, and then actually, Mr. Siri mentioned the tax sale that we'll be having in April. So between now and then, there will be some that get paid off, and so when I did the estimates for end of year, I was very conservative. I didn't really count any of those receipts, so that will be like a good thing for us, because that's that's really going to boost up our operating results for this fiscal year. So.
Do you know the last time that was done? Any other tax auction? Has it been a while?
It's been a long time.
I'm just wondering what the historical, what do you expect to get? Do we usually get like 75% of it, or all
So
of it? Or?
what would happen? Okay, so as I indicated, we'll get a good percent that will actually pay off, and then when they have the tax sale, if no one bids on them, then it's a choice: does the town want to foreclose or just kind of let it sit there? And once anyone that bids, is a successful bidder, the person that owns the property still has an additional 6 months after the sale to pay that person. So the person really can't take total ownership of it until that 6-month window comes and goes. But in terms of, does every single property get, taken care of, I don't have an answer to that question.
Probably not. There's probably some. Yeah, there's probably some property nobody wants.
That's the reason why they're not paying taxes on it.
Yeah, so.
Anything else, Ann?
No, I think if no one has any questions, I'm all set. But as I indicate, you mentioned, yes, the public safety overtime accounts, and then we also are going to need to deal with additional funding for the Waterford lockup, because we only budgeted 2 months in the budget this year, and we'll be there 8 months after this month. So just want to wait to confirm that February will actually be the end, that we won't have to go into another month. So we're trying to keep a tab on that to make sure that we get everything accomplished.
Well, we had a few of the lockup rooms over there in our tour, so they look.
But they're not, we still have to lease Waterford until they're ready, is that?
Right, so in other words, until, I guess we get the final CO, is that right, Kevin?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
until we get the
close.
final CO, so,
Really, really close.
yeah. Yes, we're waiting to put the end on the, so.
Yes. Great. So, anyone have any questions? No? Thank you, Ian. Next on the agenda is new business. First is a special appropriation and transfer wages, $40,347.74 from contingency. Kevin, did you want to speak to this, or Anna?
I left my sheet with that on my desk. Yes, last year the chief's contract had to be renegotiated, and Mr. Nickerson sat down with him and negotiated a deal to extend his contract for a few years. One of the things he did is he brought up his salary to a level where it's now in sort of the middle of where chiefs are in the area. He was by almost 15% the lowest paid chief in the whole eastern region of the state. There were several towns where the assistant chiefs or deputy chiefs made more than he did. So that was addressed, and that was brought up, as was and it was brought up, and so the amount of money being transferred, you can see right there, and this has already been signed, and the contract was already signed by the chief and Mr. Nickerson. The amount is 27.5.
24-3?
The chief. The police chief. We're at 20. I'm sorry, the bottom one. 24,315. And as you saw, this doesn't even bring him to the top. It still puts him in the middle of where most chiefs are. And if you've seen back in the fire last week, and you sure you show it in your presentation tonight, we have a very great resource. When he had to step up during the, basically take over the planning of the IT and installation of all the electronics in the new building, he did all that while still fulfilling his role as a chief. So I think we've got a really great asset there that we want to keep here. And as I said, this just brings him into an area where he's in the middle of the pack now in the area for pay. And, you know, it extends out for a few more years. The second one, the deputy EMD, that was Julie Wilson. She was making about $55,000. She was made the Deputy Emergency Management Director, and the union agreed to let us take this out of the union and make it into a management position. So she got a bump up to 65, but no longer available for overtime. And we did a quick calculation on what she would have made from the time she became the assistant until now, actually the end of January, and it would have been about $23,000 in overtime. Instead, the bump just gave her up to 65. Julie is, when the storms hit, the flood hit, when the fire hit, COVID, we probably would have gotten some of the COVID money back under ARP, but there's a lot of money in there that we would have had to expend if she was still in an hourly rate. So, and also too, comp time. Now she was using comp time. Now she's salaried. So that was a good move on behalf of the town. The top one there, the assessor. Again, when the assessor was brought on, she was brought in at a low rate, and as time went on, the department heads got no step increases, so it was just a GWI, and she was lagging by a significant amount behind regional others in the area. Even much smaller towns, the assessors were making more. So Mark, Mr. Nickerson worked out a deal with her to raise her salary to still the lower end, but more commensurate with her peers in the area. So that's why that adjustment was made. And the money, the source of the money was payroll contingency, as you can see here, and from contingency. So, and again, these are all contracts or adjustments that were made during the year last year in the early fall.
So you make that motion?
Yeah, and just to clarify, the town meeting is not needed because the funds.
Funds are
were
going
already
from, yes, from,
So I will move to appropriate and transfer $40,347.74 as follows. $29,570 from account 0101-120-100-500 payroll contingency, and $10,777.74 from account 0101-120-200-500 contingency to the following accounts: $11,349 to account 0101-102-100-211 assessor, $4,683.43 to account 01-25-214-100-311 deputy emergency management director, and $24,315.31 to account 01-25-216-100-211 police chief.
Any discussion?
Yes.
Need a second.
Second. I thought you asked for discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just,
that's,
You have to second the motion
oh, okay.
before you can discuss.
You do?
so,
Yeah.
Yes.
so we have a motion, we have a second, and up for discussion.
Okay. Thank you, Kevin. In terms of the length of the contract that was renegotiated with the chief, you mentioned that was in the fall and that it's for several years.
3 years.
3-year contract. Was that his previous contract was a 3-year contract?
No, his previous was a 4-year contract. He
4
started in
years.
17 and it ended last year, so it was a renegotiation.
Oh, okay. That's all. Thank
Okay.
you.
Anyone else? Nothing? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No abstentions. The motion carries 6-0. Thank you. And next on the agenda is the Special Appropriation Fund 32 CNRE $12,500 pump out boat.
Right. Well, this
The pump out boat.
to Pete and John and Rich, they've been here before. So, and Waterford did the same thing. This is $12,000 $500. It's East Lyme's contribution to the purchase of the pump-out boat. Waterford is the same. And then there's some federal money, which is where the problem was. We were, sadly, when we used the ARP money, which would have fit, except for this boat was being funded partially by federal money, so you can't do it twice. So that was backed out. We've identified in the town projects, we had ample funding in there to move it out of that to fund this, so that's the source we're planning on, requesting that the Board of Selectmen has approved it, and we're hoping that you will too. Waterford, the Board of Selectmen a couple weeks ago approved the $12,500, and their representative town meeting approved it a couple nights ago, so they've already approved it, and I've already been in contact with the Friends of Save the River, Save the Hills. I always say that, I would get confused. And told them we'd be acting on it. And then, of course, the town. For this, we have to do a town meeting, though. And the 12.5, we got an opinion from the attorney that was initially appropriated. That gets returned to ARP funds, and there's no need for a motion by the Board of Finance or a town meeting since we're returning money. That makes it much easier. So.
And moving forward, every ARP.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Every ARP thing goes through the attorney. I mentioned one thing and I didn't even finish saying it, and Tracy said no. So I said, okay. So she's on top of it now.
Okay.
Move to appropriate and transfer $12,500 from CNRE Fund 30 to account 32703005009999 townwide projects to an account to be established titled Pump Out Boat. A town meeting will be scheduled at a later date.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? We have a motion and a second.
The boat needs to be replaced.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. No abstentions. A motion carries.
Really quick, just a funny sideline to this. I met with a couple of people from Wellsco today, and they said they're looking for the funding for the boat, and I said, we're giving you the $12,000 will probably be approved by next week. They go, all we wanted was $3,500. And I said, really? They were talking about the yearly maintenance that we normally contribute to the boat. And I said, when we figured that out, I thought maybe, so no, they still want the $12,500.
Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda, under new business, is discuss the proposed 2022-2023 budget meeting schedule. So, just to orient us as to where we are in the process, the Board of Selectmen budget received the budget on March 9th, and the Board of Selectmen will be submitting it to the Board of Finance, and then the Board of Finance will schedule meetings and choose which departments that we want to invite in to do the overview. So what I'd like to do on this one is to suggest the dates for the meetings, and then once we're in agreement on that, we can then move on to which departments we would like to invite in. So with the help of Anna, we looked at when this room would be available, because we would like to have them televised. I think it's great to give the residents an opportunity to hear what goes on in all these different departments and where their tax money goes. So I would like to propose dates of March 15th, March 21st, March 28th, and April 4th to review the departmental budgets, and then the dates of April 11th and April 13th, if needed, for our deliberations.
What was the last date?
April 13th,
13th.
if needed.
Thank you. Yep.
And I know I kind of threw those out so that everybody would have a chance to check their schedules, and everybody's got busy work lives, so it's nice to get these on everybody's calendars, so we're not scrambling at the last minute. Does anyone have any questions or objections to any of those dates? Okay. I'll move that we do. So I'd like to make a motion to accept March 15th, March 21st, March 28th, April 4th to review departmental budgets, and April 11th and April 13th, if needed, for our deliberation on the budget. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Motion carries 6-0. So, next, everyone, obviously has the financials that we get every week every month, and I think, we want to be mindful of our department heads' time, but also make this a good use of all of our time as well. So, obviously there's a few departments that are, a department of 1 or 2 people, and everything that they're doing, it's pretty much just their salaries, so there's not really a whole lot to, review. On the other hand, you've got some really large budgets and some budgets that are increasing over previous years as a percentage of the town's budget as a whole. So those were sort of some of the things that I was thinking about. So maybe the easiest way for us to go through this is I can go down the list of departments, and if anyone says, yes, I want to review that, then we can add it on. And then if no one wants to review it, we'll leave that one off. And then when we have that total, we would look to have some help with either Kevin or Anna, and then kind of setting those schedules for who's coming in when. Okay? All right. Any questions before I start reeling off? So, the first selectman, account 101. Does anyone want to review that? That one, again, is mainly salary.
And I think he's going to be here for a lot of this anyway.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, how about the assessors?
Pretty straightforward.
No. Tax collectors. That budget actually went down. Nobody. Building. Now, I thought that would be good to review. It's got an increase, and so I had said yes to that one.
Yeah, that's always a moving target.
Okay. Town engineer. It's another decreased budget. Anyone want to review town engineer? No? Human resources.
The one thing, the town engineer, they split a lot between water and sewer.
Town engineer is not.
No, okay.
Public Works and the Deputy Public Works Director, some of their salary is funded through water and sewer, which we don't review, but town engineer falls under Public Works. Oh, that's right, too. This year he did put a little bit of the engineer's salary into that. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Okay.
Still working on the nuts and bolts.
Mm-hmm.
So to speak.
But did you want to review it, or?
No.
Okay. Human resources. I know
I
we've,
think,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was
Yeah,
going to say, I
'cause
know
there's
we've
been
talked a lot
there's been
about
a lot of
it.
movement around that, and I
but-
think just to solidify it would be good.
I agree. So we will review human resources. Town clerk, that's one of those which is mainly salary. Anyone want to review town clerks? Nope. Health.
Health and, Ledge Light?
Ledge light.
That's a contract.
Yeah, that's contract.
Information technology.
Yes.
I had said yes to that one too. Registrars,
That's pretty straightforward.
yeah, judge of probate.
Oh.
You could get even, Ron.
It's true. Maintenance of town buildings. Yeah, this is one that I think we should.
That will come with Public Works.
So do you think it's, all the information would be, we're going to look at Public
Yeah,
Works, so. it would
Public
be-
Works will bring in pretty much several other departments too. Even right now, IT is under that, so whatever night you schedule Public Works might be a good night to schedule IT as well.
Okay.
Because Joe has technically been doing that.
The other thing is maybe we want to have IT come in the same night as public safety, so we'll have to figure that out.
Or have the chief of police come, whenever, yeah, we'll figure that one out.
So Public Works.
It could be a late night, huh?
IT. Yeah, we want to balance
Yeah.
it as well. But if we got through everything and
Yeah.
didn't have to meet on April 4th, then that'd be fine too. So, so we are doing information technology, but we'll
We'll figure out
do
where
it
to put
together with,
For resolutions.
Either with public safety or with
Yeah.
Public Works, one of those two.
excuse me, maintenance of town buildings, yes. General government miscellaneous and benefits.
And we'll cover that anyway.
Yeah. Services to community, it's a small number.
Yeah.
Zoning commission. No. Planning department. Finance department.
We'll be here.
Yep.
That's an easy one. You can
Yeah.
pick, if it's a slow night, to say, hey, you're on now.
Contingency,
Yes.
yes.
But that we would cover anyway, but that's a good one this year because
Yep.
the funding is there.
Board of Finance,
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think there's really much there. Board of Assessment Appeals, that went down. CBA, nothing really. IWA. Shellfish, no. Town Building Committee, no. Harbor Management. Conservation of Natural Resources, not much there. Historic Properties Commission. Do you
No.
think
Do we need,
because of,
they're gonna get the building, do we have to?
No, that's the Historic Society. The Historic Properties is
Okay.
Samuel Smith and that, and I don't think there's any really need to see that. I mean, I think there's this is steady, it's flat.
The old Burn Seat building, that's gonna be under the library moving.
Well, it'll be a combination, by the library teaming with the Historical Society, they've already secured grants to help
Okay.
renovate, that'll help improve that building.
okay, and now I'm just gonna say, from 214 Emergency Management down to 317 Public Works, I think we need to see all of that, and that would be,
Mhm.
everybody good with that?
Agree.
Commission on Aging, I think.
I don't think it's a bad idea, because Kathy Wilson has been pointing out that there's more and more requests for her to get involved with people who are disabled now, and she's having access to social workers, so she'd be a good person to come in. She's got no request for assistance. She is asking for something through ARPA funds to possibly get a social worker, but I think that'd be someone good
Yeah.
just to get a perspective on, maybe for not so much this year, but moving down.
Where-
It's a growing department.
Very much so, yeah.
So does that mean just the age of our population?
Yeah, I mean,
is-
that's just it,
is getting
she's getting more and more, and for instance, Twin Havens used to be 55 and older, but now it's for people who are disabled too, so there's a lot of people in there who are, younger, but are in need, and I think it's helpful if she gives a little bit of an explanation for that.
All right, we'll add in Commission on Aging. Health and welfare, health and Human Services, that's a pretty small amount there. Culture and Recreation, another kind of,
That's the library.
yeah.
Library would be good to come because their budget is very flat, but you get a good idea of how much they get in assistance through various other sources. Lisa's done a really good, is a very good librarian over there. She's impressive to hear her talk.
And I think we want to do Parks and Rec
Yes.
as well. And then when it comes to, you know, capital and all of that,
Yeah, you're
that's
gonna
going to
get
be
that
under
reviewed.
finance.
Yeah.
So then I think that would be, keep us busy through.
Board of Ed.
Yeah, and Board of Ed.
Oh,
Yeah.
Usually we
that.
do it.
Yeah.
That's a whole night
That's,
too.
that's a whole night for that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then that should be it.
Okay, now, you did cover already, the fire department, but that's
Yeah.
that group with the
From-
public safety, right?
Yeah.
Services.
I just wanted,
So, the Department 114, which is the department, like general government miscellaneous, that's where all the benefits are.
Mhm.
You want to discuss that one night? I wasn't sure when you went through if that was a yes or not.
I think it would be good, but
Okay.
I think it would come under your
Right, okay.
finance, right?
Okay, and then we'll also discuss finance budget as well. And did you want the Board of Finance budget on an agenda?
Well, it's not a huge budget. But if you think
Oh,
it's
just
good.
asking the question.
Yeah.
Do we have to approve it formally? Do we have to approve it? If we're gonna have to approve it, we should have it on at one meeting.
Okay, so, yeah, it won't take, that would just take a
Yeah.
couple minutes,
Okay, yeah.
And then, so at the same time, you want to go over the debt budgets and capital. So
Mhm.
we'll have all those in one night, okay.
Yep.
I just wanted to make sure that I understood.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, no, thank you. I mean, I think that would be a good representation of. Okay, so,
When I did review them, I said to them, I asked several of them, you know, and if they really felt the need to come here, and Lisa's the only one that, and she does a really good presentation for
Mhm.
the library, so she's the only one that really, that might not otherwise be asked, indicates she'd like to be here.
and 7 o'clock, our normal time for these meetings, works for everyone, and for our department managers, I'll be good with that.
Yeah, the quicker, the earlier I can give them a heads up, but we've got,
Mhm.
we're not talking about until over a month away,
Yeah.
so, you know.
We should reach out to the Board of Ed and see which one of them.
Okay.
And I also reached out to the Board of Ed, to Jeff today and Mariana, and copied you, Kevin, just to say, as the next phase would be the public hearing, and by charter, everything has to line up. So we're looking at a window between April 13th and April 25th to have the public hearing. So, you know, I realize there's nobody in the room tonight. Maybe everybody's watching from home. But if we have a lot of people who want to come out and address at a public hearing, we want to have enough room. So I was asking the Board of Ed if they could reserve their auditorium for us somewhere if they have availability between April 13th and April 25th. Is there?
I think you'll know at least a couple weeks. It's good to reserve the room, but you'll know probably a couple weeks ahead of time
Yeah.
based on where we stand,
Right.
whether you're going to need to have that big type of location.
What's their vacation? Well, I think the 13th is kind of early because once.
That would be yeah. But I mean, I'm just saying that would be the window, really. Right.
And that would, another question is when is their
Spring break.
spring break?
Yeah.
We don't want to have it. Because a couple times we've had it during the April vacation, then you get some feedback that, well, we couldn't come to the public hearing.
Because of it. We've never scheduled it during that because of that, not while I've been here,
You're right, it wasn't that, but,
because they get furious over it.
oh, no.
They need to be there because they need to present.
No,
their
it
budget.
was, when I was on the Board of Ed, we did something
Oh.
during the February vacation when they still had
I
it. We
think
heard
this
about it,
is
so,
the,
okay. It's a long time ago.
22nd, I think is the week they're off.
So you think they're off
The
It's
18th,
on there.
18th?
the 18th to the 22nd, I believe.
Yeah, be on the Board of Ed's,
So then 23rd, 24th, 25th potentially could work. And maybe we won't need a big room, but just trying to be, think ahead, because it's so tough to get on schedules. There's just not a lot of places that we can use. So I don't know whether you need me to repeat everything. Is everybody?
Just how many, add them up and how many altogether.
Okay.
and knowing that the police department will take into consideration a whole bunch of their, same thing with Public Works. We'll take.
So 23.
About, yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we're looking at reviewing, I'll make the motion that we set those 23 departments that we just discussed to review the budgets with the department heads on the meeting dates that we set, and we will work to set up a schedule that makes sense based upon our best guess on how much time would be needed for each one.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? None. Any abstentions?
Just
No.
for a heads up, we did all of emergency management. We did police, dispatch, emergency management, ACO, the animal control officer, which was very quick, and both fire departments and the fire marshal last night. And it took us about an hour and 45 minutes, to a little more than that.
Okay, so 2 hours early.
Yeah.
So did I get to the point where I said all those in favor?
Yeah.
I did,
Yeah.
okay. So the motion carries 6-0. Old business, approve the Board of Finance bylaws as amended.
No, missed one.
No, we didn't
Oh,
do the
I'm
American
sorry.
Rescue Plan.
You're right.
Your moment to shine, too.
Yeah. I'm sorry about that. I missed new business, item D, update American Rescue Plan ad hoc committee. So we've got 2 members.
Yes. So
Richard going first?
I can start if you wish, Paul.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's fine.
Okay. We have a subcommittee that is composed of 2 representatives from the Board of Selectmen, 2 representatives from the Board of Finance, 2 members of the community, 1 from Ionic Main Street and 1 from representing the nonprofits in town. We have got the information about the availability of the funds and an online application, a fillable PDF that are on the town website. There was mention that perhaps there are some members of the community who may not be computer literate, and so we've provided some copies of the application and the announcement that was on the website here at Town Hall, at the Senior Center, at the library, and the Parks and Rec Department over at the Community Center. The desire was to have the announcement and the application pinned on recent or on new events on the website, but I don't know that that has occurred, and I think it has dropped off the visual site until you go to find more events. So hopefully
We
that
can
will.
take care of that.
Oh, okay. The desire was to have it pinned at the very top, so it'd be the first thing that people could see. We are in the process of developing our rubric for the evaluations, so there was also a form that was developed to have the members of the subcommission put their thoughts on their evaluations. And we've heard from one member, a department head here in the town side of things. We have several more presentations to come from town department heads, and we will progress forward and hopefully have a report to the Board of Selectmen. I believe it's either March 8th or March 15th. I think it's March 8th that we have
I believe so, yeah.
report to the Board of Selectmen. And
It's March 16th.
March 16th.
That's what I have my
No,
calendar.
no, Ann said she was gonna give you the report on the 8th, but you didn't discuss
Oh.
any meeting notes.
Okay. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
I have one more to discuss it.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
That's probably the more important aspect. But, and so the big overarching theme is to make sure that the town has a sense that this is a transparent process and a fair, equitable process, and that the public is aware of what's going on and that they have input that they feel is measurable. That's about what I have. Paul, fill in any gaps?
Yeah, Kevin said the town department heads gave them a deadline that they've already, I guess, last week has passed, and was we gave the public is the 21st.
22nd, because
the
the
actual-
21st.
okay.
So February
Yeah.
22nd will be the deadline. Originally, it was going to be the 21st, but that's a holiday, so it's a nice numerical thing, 2222.
Yeah, and department heads, some of them I've asked for a little more details in that, which is why I asked for mine early, so.
Okay.
Any questions? Well, thanks you guys for doing this.
Well, thank you.
Okay, so now to old business, approval of the Board of Finance bylaws as amended. We've talked about it for the last couple of meetings. We made a very minor change, just for clarity as to the difference between delegations and public discussion. So I think anyone who has wanted to weigh in has had a chance to weigh in at this point now. And do I have a motion to approve the Board of Finance bylaws as amended?
So
Thank you.
I'll
All-
second.
Okay, the motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries 6-0. Thank you. So now, public discussion, and there's nobody in the room. And so we'll move on to board comments.
I'm thrilled with the police department, the public safety building, and I think, I think it was very impressive, and technology is certainly up to date, and I think as professional as they were, it was clear that they were enthusiastic about the building and happy and pleased with the building.
Yeah, it was, thank you, Kevin, for helping us set that up. It was a it was a great tour of the building, and, very impressed with the professionalism and,
And
the way
is there-
technology.
Is there a question you can ask the chief that he doesn't have an answer to?
Yeah.
I mean, he knows when he takes you back in the room and shows you about the body cams and stuff, and how it all, everything just, funnels into the system to where, it's locked away in the cloud someplace. Now it's just impressive,
Yeah.
really impressive.
Yeah, just the whole emergency management, when you think about just what we've gone through in the last, whether floods and storms and blizzards and whatever. And I think the town just did a wonderful job reacting to all of that. And, I can remember in 2010 when we had a horrible snowstorm, and, we were in the emergency management site up in West Hartford for weeks trying to get power back. So it's to have that type of resource is wonderful. So the last sort of comment I wanted to make is to say Tonight is Karen's last night after 23 years serving as the recording secretary for the Board of Finance, and I've only had 3 meetings now to work with you, but you've been here through thick and thin for a long, long time, and on behalf of all of us on the Board of Finance, we just wanted to thank you. I know you're not going anywhere, but you won't be here for our Board of Finance. Yes, so we just had a little something for you.
They're beautiful, thank you. Isn't that gorgeous? And I love flowers. Oh, you John always thinks of everything.
John does.
I was told be careful when you go into this part of the yard.
You were born.
Well, Buddha with a foot or something.
Thank you
Yeah, they
so
are.
much, they're gorgeous.
Well, thank you again.
If you need anything, feel free to ask.
And the cat's safe.
Yeah.
You think so?
Well, that's what I told her.
Oh,
She
you
says,
don't.
we'll see, huh?
Well,
Well,
they're not gonna, I'll have to hide them from them.
well, thank you again.
Yeah.
Be careful
Thank
how you
you.
say that if we need you. 'Cause
I've done it for so long, there's probably nothing I don't know or haven't seen. So
Mhm.
anything you need,
Yeah.
just ask.
Well, you've
John
always.
knows, he emails me from time to time.
I had the cat litter for you too. It's out in the truck. We had 2 cats, and one by one they passed away. They just bought a big container of cat litter. So I told her I had an extra container.
He said he went downstairs and found it, and I said, oh, they can always use that.
There you go, our Board of
He's a
Finance
wonderful,
people.
thank you so much. It's been fun, it really has. How many different people have I gone through? Alan Taylor hired me, Dick Brooks,
Dick Brooks, Scott
Klein.
Frazier,
Klein Hands,
Bob Kleinhand, Steve Larson,
Steve Larson,
Susan, Sue, she used to be on the DTT as sheriff at one time, not that long ago.
oh, Sharon Hanson.
Sharon Hanson.
Sharon
Sharon
Hanson.
Hanson.
Yes, when she moved out the Midwest and they came back.
Yeah,
And then who was after her? Was it Camille? Beth Hogan? Was Beth
no,
Hogan?
it was
on it?
Steve Kelly, Ray Hart,
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Bill-
Steve Harney, so
Oh my.
lots of.
Will,
I've been through a lot of people.
Bill Weber.
Oh, Bill
Yes,
Weber.
Bill Weber,
Camille,
they're all
yeah.
with you now.
Yeah,
You got all.
well, that's what I've told all the departments,
Yes.
they're going through 2 boards of finance.
Yeah.
So they-
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
So you see where you go from there, you go to the Board of Selectmen, that's all. You're all set after this. Right?
John's already been there.
Then I came back, wasn't I crazy?
They needed the expertise.
Yeah.
All right, well, unless anyone has anything else, I'd make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I'll second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.